everybody. Welcome to One Nation Divided, a new podcast hosted by me, Connor, aka that one conservative guy, and also Aidan.
What's up, man? And also, you can find my TikTok at the Mother Lover. Please go and do so.
Yeah, so this is a new podcast that we are starting out, and we're going to be talking about politics mainly. Everything's politics, right? Got to talk
Everything's
about
politics right now,
Yeah.
man.
There's just so much going on in the political world. You just got to, it's hard to stay on top of it. So these are just, we're going to do a little series of mini podcasts, about 10 minutes or so. Maybe at the most 15. Like I said, we typically, we call them, they're mini podcasts. They're nothing huge, but we just try to do
Nothing
that.
huge.
Today we're going to be talking about the biggest news story in the world, the election.
Because what else is happening?
Nothing else. Everybody forgot
Nothing
about
else. You don't hear about
coronavirus.
anything else right now.
Everybody forgot about COVID. Everybody forgot about everything else. That's all about the election.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, and I did just want to, kind of touch on that. I haven't heard anything about this coronavirus since the election. It's almost like it went away.
well, I know it's almost like it because
it almost like it didn't happen.
The media is treating it like that. It's still an issue, but one of the things too, they're just like, oh, Biden's elected, no coronavirus, no more. They just they push that narrative. Coronavirus, it's a very it's a real thing, but they really pushed it to the extent to try to make Trump look bad and everything. And now they're going to praise Biden as the savior for COVID. But anyway,
savior for COVID, but I don't think for the economy. On the other hand, it's definitely not the savior for that.
Like I said, you can cure a pandemic all you want to, but
you create a whole nother problem.
You create a whole nother problem. A pandemic, you can control a pandemic within a year or two, but a dead economy takes years, if not a decade, to get back.
Yeah.
And look at, guys, if Joe Biden does get into office, we're looking at the guy that we put in charge back in 2008, who had the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. And we're putting him back in charge of this country to restore the economy from coronavirus. So you buckle up for a interesting show.
Yeah, and I would just like to point out, everyone, of course, the media is just shoving it down our throats that, President-elect Biden this, President-elect Biden that. I would just like to point out that he is the key word is projected. He is the projected winner of these states. He is the projected presidential elect. Does nothing in the Constitution that the Associated Press calls the election. The election is to be certified, I believe, on December 6th. I don't have that on hand, but I believe it's December 6th. So then we'll know for sure. In the meantime, President Trump is challenging these states, such as Pennsylvania, Georgia. He's putting all this stuff out on his Twitter, all these kinds of tweets. I'm not reading too much into that. I'm really not paying that much attention. I would say my personal opinion is that it is over for Trump, but I'm not going to call that yet. We're still going to see how this plays out. Right now, I just think, Trump is just trying to throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. Him and his campaign and his, everyone he's got on deck. They're just trying to see what sticks. And in certain states, I think maybe they have something, but we won't know until probably December 6th when they certify the results of the election.
That's the thing. We can't see what's going on in the background legally. What actions are being taken. We don't see what's going on in the background. There could be something huge going on in the background. There could be nothing going on in the background. We're not sure. Nobody knows.
Yeah. And quite frankly, we're seeing two extremes. The only kind of news we're getting is two extremes. We're getting the liberal left media, and then we're getting President Trump's tweets.
Yeah,
which are completely different. Those are the only sources of information we're getting, and they're both completely biased and twisted.
Right.
Both.
Yes. Completely. There's no, because you got one side voter fraud, and then the other side. Oh no, this side over here, the left, the same people in 2016 that said our elections are dangerous, they're not safe, foreign interference. Now they're saying
Russian collusion.
Russian collusion. Now they're saying we have the safest elections in the world. So
how dare you question the integrity of the election?
Well, I know, right? And then a few other dates that we have. December 14th, the electors cast their ballots Then December 23rd, the president of the Senate goes through, certifies, and counts the electoral votes. January 6th is one of the final dates. Congress counts the electoral votes. So they have a series of dates doing that. Then after
And then January 20th will
January
be
20th would be the inauguration day. So if there's still all this stuff going on and nothing major happens, January 20th, Joe Biden's going to be sworn in as your president.
yes. And I
So
would just like to say, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, whether whoever's watching this likes it or not, Biden's going to be our president, and I don't want to see my president fail because then my country fails. So I might not like it, but I have to suck it up, and we have to be bigger than the Liberal Party. We have to be bigger than the Democratic Party, because what point in the 4 years did they accept Trump as their president? They're telling us to accept it. When did they accept it? They never did.
accepted it.
So I think we just have to be bigger than them. We say, we might not like it. We don't have to like it. We live in a country where we don't have to like it. We can voice our opinions on it.
Yeah,
and I'm thankful that we live in such.
It's the best strategy for the Republican Party is to be the bigger person. And
Yeah.
we don't need to be breaking down crybaby liberals like that's been going on the past 4 years. We need to be the bigger person. We need to step up. The party of the working class people, step up and say, look, we're doing what's for the best interest of the people and not what's the best interest to push our agenda.
Yeah.
And we're not pushing a socialist agenda. We're pushing an American agenda. And that's what we're doing.
Just like it or not, we all live in this country together, and we're going to have to live with it. So congratulations to the Democratic Party. We'll see you in 4 years.
Yeah, we'll come back stronger than ever in 4 years, and 2024 we'll see who gets the top of the ticket, because we definitely know that in 2024 we're going to have a really good election year. We already had a really good election year for the Republicans in 2020. Everybody looks to the presidential race, but a lot of us forget about the Congress. In Congress, in the House of Representatives, the GOP picked up I think it was 10 or 11 seats, which is a pretty good number. They didn't lose any seats. They only gained seats, but the Democrats aren't able to say that. They lost plenty of seats, and we have thinned the gap in the House of Representatives. So in 2022, those midterm elections, it's looking pretty good for the Republicans. We're going to take back the House in 2022 for sure. Now, the Senate, we definitely need to keep the Senate. I think we are going to keep the Senate. It's down to Georgia. That's the highly contested election right now. But I believe we are going to keep the Senate, and we're going to be good with that, and we're going to be able to keep Biden from pushing any agenda that any socialist puppet agenda.
Yeah, because like we've seen for Trump for the past 4 years, it has been very hard to pass a lot of bills that Trump would be in favor of, because the House just shoots it down. And the same thing, when Biden's going to be in office, the Senate's going to shoot these things down. So to really make any kind of change in our country, to make any significant change, we're going to have a aligning Senate, House, and presidency. And that is not looking like that's going to happen, because we're going to have Joe for 4 years. We're probably going to keep the Senate. The Democrats for now have control of the House, so it's not looking like it's all going to align. But I think that at some point, one side or the other, in order to make significant change. I mean, you can only do so much with the executive orders.
Yeah, even if the Democrats gain control of all three, if they gain control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that party is so divided between the far left and the moderate left.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it would be hard to get anything in strong, because you have this half of the party, Green New Deal and stuff like that, defund the police and everything, and then you have this half of the party that's not for that. The only reason Joe Biden got elected from the Democrats and he got all those votes is because people don't like Trump. Like I said they would literally vote in Hitler or Fidel Castro or Mussolini or Stalin, anybody
or Kanye.
like that, just to get rid of Trump.
Yeah.
that's the thing. They've been brainwashed into thinking Trump is going to take away my rights. So let me vote in some idiot and then get him out. And they don't realize
Yeah.
how good of effect his policies and stuff have had on them.
I challenge you to find, if you have a friend or someone who is a Democrat or a liberal, just ask, what do you like about Biden's policies? And they won't be able to tell you because that's not what Joe Biden ran on. He didn't run on his policies. He ran on Orange Man bad,
Yeah,
and I gotta give him credit because it worked. It worked.
yeah, it
As far
worked.
as we know, it worked. I mean, we'll find out December 6th, but as far as I know, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there was no policies. There was no running on policies. It was running on, look, Orange Man bad, elect me, and I'll bring back, character to America. That's all it was.
I mean,
He
yeah,
never
they
went
had
into
they
detail.
had two very big components as Orange Man bad. We had COVID, and then we had systemic racism. We had those two, and then that's kind of what made up Orange Man bad, and that gave Joe Biden the win. And I
Yeah,
gotta
and I
say,
think had we not had those two things happen in 2020, Trump would have had a clear victory. But
oh yeah,
because of those two things, those were the two selling cards. Those were the two, tickets that the Democrats used to push Joe Biden as a candidate. They said, "Oh look, 200,000 people dead from COVID. It's Trump's fault." But had Biden been
vote
in
Donald.
office when that happened, there would be 200 there would be 2 million Americans dead, or
Awesome. Yeah.
200 million Americans, or not 200 million, but 2
2
million.
million.
2 million.
Yeah, I heard that it was 2 million. I heard it was 2 million if we didn't do anything.
You're right.
If we did absolutely nothing, it would have been two
Yeah,
million.
Joe
And
Biden
Trump
was
did.
delayed in his response. I mean, literally, when Trump was shutting down the borders and stuff like that, Joe Biden said, "Oh, it's just because he's xenophobic. Xenophobic. He's
And now he's saying he didn't do enough.
right." And now he's saying he didn't do enough. So, is there hypocrisy in that? Yeah. I mean, literally, they're saying, I remember. I mean, you can. It's. I wish we had a time machine. We can go back and look in March when he was doing in February, March when he was shutting down these borders and stuff like that. And they were like, "Oh, he's xenophobic and he's just using that because he's a racist." But then looking back, now looking back, they're like, he didn't do enough. He should have acted back in December, in January, And I mean, it's
Yeah. Hey man, up until March, Corona was a meme. We all literally laughed at it. So I mean, and
yeah.
here's the thing.
I
One
just
last
remember.
thing.
Yeah.
One last thing. I just think before we wrap it up.
Hmm.
I don't think people. Everyone's talking about how this election is rigged and everything. I don't think it's rigged. I just want to point out how this election was really influenced and who really called the shots and influenced this election, which is the media,
Yeah.
not just the media, but social media. I think
For
social
sure.
media,
For sure.
and
Yes.
you and I know this because we've been on TikTok, and
Yeah.
we know how using TikTok as an example, how um, big tech corporations like to censor what they don't like, what they don't want other people to see. And I've been censored, you've been censored, a
Yeah.
lot of big conservative creators on social media in general have been censored. And so that just goes to show, what the social media wants to censor, especially in an election year where a lot of shit is on the line.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and that's
so
just all social media has been doing. You look at Twitter and Instagram; they flag all these posts with, election stuff like that. And my question is that I'm wondering, and Facebook, they do the fact check stuff. So I'm wondering, is that the future of or the social media and stuff like that for the rest of the next 4 years and stuff like that? Is it going to be constantly every time you share something political or something? Oh, like if it's specifically Republican, fact check. Oh, well, that's false information. I mean, that's what I'm wondering because I mean that's all it is on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram now. You post
yeah,
any political content that just so happens to be conservative, you get hit with the warning. You get hit with the well, we're gonna take this post down. We're gonna do this, and it's just because they don't want a conservative movement, spreading through social media. They don't want the truth to come out, and
no,
we just keep seeing that over and over and over again. We have the big media. We have Fox, CNN. Even Fox is guilty of this. Fox, CNN, ABC, CBS, constantly censoring and twisting stories around. Then we go to social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's just the constant, shadow banning and the constant, suppressing of the views and stuff like that. And I just heard a big ding. So,
That was
looks
me.
like a big ding. So anyway, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping that up because that is a topic for another day. We can we can go on a million directions with this, but basically looking at the election and one thing that I didn't do too that I want to take a look at. One real quick thing before we end off on a note, I just want to take a look at the electoral map here. Okay, we're looking at this now. This is AP. We're looking at the presidential results. They
Associated
finally
Press.
gave them North Carolina. They haven't even really called Georgia yet. But
Well, actually, wait. I thought they. This could be totally wrong, but I thought they did.
I think like CBS did, but this is
Okay,
AP.
maybe Associated
I
Press
haven't
just didn't call it.
exactly, but look how close Georgia is.
Yeah.
49.5, 49.2. That's so close.
Yep.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
believe
it's
it.
ridiculous. I mean, how close that is. But
This really goes to show you, just not even Georgia, but this entire electoral map, how divided this country is.
oh
I mean,
yeah, I mean
we shouldn't be
it's
that surprised. We saw it. We saw it in 2016, and
oh
we're
yeah.
seeing it now. And you gotta, wonder why. I mean, I guess that's a topic for another day. But you really gotta wonder.
Yeah, we're gonna review it for another day. But as for now, thank you all for tuning in to the podcast, and make sure you share us on social media, share with your friends. Comment down below any topics you want us to talk about if you enjoyed the show, and any improvements you think we can make. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all, and me and Aidan will see you all in the next podcast.
Peace, guys. Thank you all for watching.